Welcome, Shuchetha. Welcome to the Extreme Gratitude
Hello,
Talk
Advait.
Show.
Hello to
Hello.
all the viewers.
Yes, hello. And thank you so much for your time, Sujata. You are
Happy to.
relationship and mindset coach. So we just want to understand how to understand the relationship. What should be the mindset before going into relationship, once you are into the relationship, and all around that, right? So, shall we start?
Sure, please go ahead. I'm waiting.
Okay. Okay. So my first question is, and what I know is that if you are in a relationship, to have the most of the relationship, to make it better, it is very necessary to know yourself, right? Uh, my question is,
Absolutely.
my question is, what are some different ways to know yourself?
Very good question. We are off to a good start. In my one-on-one consultations, coaching sessions, and even in my content that I create, I emphasize a lot on being self-aware.
Right.
Because when we are self-aware, we are awareness in a sense that we know what our strengths and weaknesses are, what are our pain points, what are our trigger points, and what are our insecurities, fears, doubts about our own self, versus what are the strengths that we have.
Right.
What do I bring to the table as a partner? So many times it so happens that हम सिर्फ इसी कोशिश में, मतलब इसी खोज में रह जाते हैं कि दूसरा बंदे से मैं क्या लूंगी, what am I taking from the other person, instead of what am I giving.
Right.
So there is a popular quote, I don't know who said this, but it goes something like this. Make a list of all the qualities you look for in a partner, and you become that.
You become that. Right. 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 I agree.
When this happens, yes, you become that, because many times we are so focused on what am I gaining. I don't know if it's the current generation. We are always taking. We don't give as much. And either that or we end up giving to the wrong person a whole lot. But if we are self-aware, Advait, we'll know हमारे needs क्या होते हैं. There's something called non-negotiable needs, and some are like good to be fulfilled needs. So unless we know ourselves, ये सब पता नहीं चलता है ना?
Right.
So how to know ourselves? That is a valid question. A lot of youngsters have that, especially 20s, early 30s में जो होते हैं. How do I know myself? The first thing I advise everyone, on a daily basis, take some time out just to get to know yourself. And how do you do that? Just sit with yourself in your own thoughts. It need not be a full-fledged meditation, but खाली बैठो, without TV, without mobile, without any other distractions. Just sit and observe where your thoughts go. Okay. And how are you feeling that particular day? And whatever comes to your mind, start journaling, start writing it down on paper. So it could be end of the day just checking in with yourself. Introspection भी बोलते हैं उसको. खाली बैठ के ध्यान दो कि okay, how did I start my day? What did I do exactly? And what is the highlight of the day? What are the lowlights of the day? Make a note of it. And how did you feel throughout each one of these? जब lowlights चल रहे थे तो मेरा ध्यान कैसे था? Like what was my emotions like? And this. And when we do this on a regular basis, like even if for like a week, right? And then go back and this after that week has passed, you will know so much about yourself. Like what are the things that make you happy? What things are your trigger points? And this is one of the best ways. Journaling, I highly recommend. Okay. Sure.
My next question, Sujata, is about before going into the relationship, right? What should be the mindset? What should be the feelings? What should be the thought patterns before going into any relationship?
First thing, be self-aware and have clarity about what do you need from the relationship. मतलब wants अलग होते हैं, needs अलग होते हैं. A lot of people get confused with this. Wants is something good to have. It's not mandatory. Example, I want a Mercedes Benz. मारुति से भी काम चल जाएगा, but then we all have that aspirational thing, right? So relationship apply किया जाएगा तो it will look something like this. I want, like for a woman, I want a man who is 6'2".
Okay.
but a 5'10" guy also will do.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So again, needs and wants, be clear about it. Do I want a house which is like a double tiered house, गाड़ी चाहिए, बंगला चाहिए, like बहुत मतलब wealthy lifestyle चाहिए, or something that my current lifestyle जो मायके में था, अगर मेरा होने वाला वो सब provide कर पा रहा है, that is enough, right?
That is enough. Yeah.
It's good to have aspirations. So those are your needs. So needs होते हैं non-negotiable. Like, do I want my partner to be loyal? Yes, it's a non-negotiable. Do I want a healthy marriage or a healthy relationship? That's a non-negotiable again. मतलब no abuse, no toxicity, none of that.
Right.
Do I feel comfortable communicating with my partner about my vulnerabilities, about my insecurities? That's a non-negotiable. It has to be. ये नहीं है कि I express a vulnerability or I express that I don't feel very smart. I feel like I'm stupid when I do this. Do you need a partner who will reciprocate and be kind and sensitive when you share that? Or do you need a partner who is going to call you names and मजाक बना रहा है आपका, मजाक उड़ा रहा है, या someone who is going to be very critical about you? These are needs. Many people somehow even compromise on these, but हाँ गाड़ी है, बड़ा job है बंदे का, fat wallet है bank balance है, then they just go for it. So very clear about your needs and your wants. This is one thing. Another thing, before they even get into dating phase, right? Esther Perel, she is an internationally renowned expert, relationship expert. वो बोलती हैं, you can have a love story with pretty much everyone or anyone at that point. But life story happens with only one person because that's a conscious decision, a choice that you make. Love story is something, a romance that lasts for like, okay, summer romance बोलते हैं, या फिर कुछ महीनों के लिए, कुछ हफ्तों के लिए, like एक साल ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा, where all your fantasies come true. But life story on the other hand, you build a life with someone. You get married, you have kids, बच्चों का responsibility संभालो, बच्चों का school education देखो, and you are like finances share हो रहा है, responsibilities, घर का जो रोज का काम होता है, घर का काम शेयर करते हो, you share responsibilities. It's someone who is there for you through every step in your life. That is a life story.
Okay.
So before you enter a relationship, ask yourself, am I looking for a love story? Or do I want something more, something deeper, something long term, something for the rest of my life?
Right.
Chances of your love story dream partner will not fit the bill of your chances of them not fitting the life story partner is very high. So be clear about needs and wants and life story versus love story.
Okay. And my question was more of regarding, the feelings and the thought process. Because most of the time I have seen that people are going into marriage or any relationship is because of insecurity, right? What if I stay alone? I can't stay alone, or I have to be into the relationship to get myself, busy or something like that. So what do you suggest to people who are insecure about being alone?
So loneliness is one of the biggest factors for happiness index around the world. Loneliness also leads to depression, which is again a psychological condition, mental condition, right? So loneliness, again, it can be extremely crippling. When I say crippling, कई बार ऐसे हो जाता है, a person has everything they want in their life. मान लीजिएगा, they have a good job, well settled, financially secure, and family में भी like everyone are well to do, so there are like all the basic necessities like food, clothing, shelter are already taken care of and maintained. They don't have someone to share their life with. So that usually creeps in after 30s. 30s तक कैसे भी लगे, people are like distracted with their career, friendships, going out, partying, wild life and all that, wild nightlife and everything. But after 30s, regardless of the gender, लड़कों को भी कई बार होता है. I've seen so many of my clients saying, I have everything but I don't have a partner and I feel very lonely. So sometimes almost like 60 to 70% of the people end up choosing the wrong partner because they don't want to be alone anymore. ठीक है, कोई भी मिल जाएगा, चलो, we'll manage. Because in their 20s they would have had relationships which wouldn't have possibly worked, and that baggage they'll still be carrying it, right? They wouldn't have healed from that, and that triggers their insecurities even more. वहाँ पे भी relationship workout नहीं हुआ, पता नहीं आगे जाके कोई मिलेगा भी नहीं मिलेगा, तो जो भी पहले मिलेगा, I'll commit to them, I'll get married to them, and I'll try to build a life with them. So this is called getting married for the wrong reasons. Getting married for the right reasons would simply look like, this is what it will look like. If I were to partner or pair up with this person, how will my life improve, and how can I improve their life? It should be a value add than when you're single. If it's gonna be worse than when you're single, then why are you getting married to this person? कुछ लोगों को ये भी डर होता है, शादी किया तो फ्रीडम चला जाता है, I will not be able to do all the things that I want to do, my partner will be controlling, टाइम पे घर आओ वरना मतलब बीवी बार बार कॉल करेगी. People will have these concerns, right? So if it is truly the right partner for you, they will encourage you to be independent, and you will definitely not feel lonely anymore if it is the right partner. Advait, there is nothing more depressing than somebody who is in a relationship or in a marriage and still feels lonely. Because partner के साथ उनका इतना जमता नहीं है, like they don't get along, they don't see eye to eye on so many things, and the relationship is not even so bad that they feel like walking out. It's mediocre, and that's an even more dangerous place to be in, you know. You don't feel like taking the step of divorcing and walking out, because it's not even as bad, it's not toxic, it's not abusive, so people automatically think itna kharab hi nahi hai na, chalega. And they end up stuck in such marriages for the rest of their life.
Right. Yeah.
So get into a marriage for the right reason being, how will my life elevate when I partner up with this person, and how can I elevate their life? It's a give and take. It has to be both ways. It's not like I'm only taking from them and not giving anything.
Right.
I think that should answer the question.
Good. Yeah, of course. I mean, yes, right. And of course, by now, whatever we have discussed, I feel that, I think whatever you're suggesting is more of a, like a giving rather than, just taking from the relationship, right? And
absolutely.
Yeah. So now my next question is about, the dating. Okay. So when we go for a date, what should be the discussion points, and what topics two persons should discuss? So if you could tell us about that, because those discussion will actually decide whether you'll basically evaluate each other, and you'll find some red flags and all those things. So yes, what should be the discussion points during the dating phase?
Good question again, because a lot of people are moving on to dating apps as well to find their life partner, and no longer just matrimonial sites. And even on people on matrimonial sites, there is a trend that has been observed over the last few years. People are taking their time. It's no longer jhat mangni pat shadi. They want to take their time, get to know, date their prospect a little bit to get to know them. So dating ke time pe, Advait, what I would say is, first of all, again, be clear about what your expectations are. Be clear about what you're looking for. Unless we have a clear outcome that we look forward to, you can never take steps towards it. Because there is something called outcome-oriented dating and casual dating.
Okay.
Casual dating, like for now we are having fun. Kahin ja raha hai, nahi ja raha hai, is it leading to something more meaningful or not? It doesn't really matter. It is not very purpose-oriented. There's no outcome. Outcome-oriented would be something a lot more mature and serious,
right,
where you have sort of a timeline to yourself. Look, 3-4 mahinon mein I want to be able to decide, okay, whether I want to take this to the next level or not.
Right. Right. Okay.
So some of the questions that they can ask, again, not all in the first date, like, span it out, because first date is supposed to be something light-hearted where you're just getting to know each other on a very light-hearted, simple manner. I even have a document for this, a free guide on my Instagram on first date conversation starters. It's very interesting. These are all fun questions, but at the same time, they'll give you a lot of insight into how this person thinks, and what their priorities are, and what is important to them, what their values are. काफी हद तक आपको समझ आएगा. There's almost 12 questions that you can ask. Again, I don't recommend asking all of these 12 questions in the very first day. It could be something as simple as It could be something as simple as if you were to be a president of India for one day, what is the first thing that you would change?
Okay.
So this will let you know, like, how much of a deep thinker are they? Are they inclined towards building a better society, or are they someone who are not that much into making the country a better place? Or are they someone who is more light-hearted? Depending on their answers, you can figure this out, right?
Okay.
And that way you will know. Because if, let's say, I am someone who is a deep thinker, I would want my future mister to have, like, I want to fix this in India first. If I have a similar thought process, that's a click, that's a check right there. Similarly, other questions you can ask them is, out of your top 5 friends, like, what is the one thing that you love about each of these 5 friends, and why are you so close to them? Why do you only rank these 5 people as your top 5?
Right.
So by this, we will be, depending on their answer, again, we can figure out if, like, what do they value in people?
Right.
Like, होता है ना कि 4 a.m. friends होते हैं, like someone who's always got your back, to somebody like, you would want by your side, like, probably, like, कोई बहुत ही important police case चल रहा है, which is a very serious, intense situation. I want someone to be my pillar of strength.
Right.
So I'm going to choose one partner, one friend. And another friend would be someone who just want to have a good time with. Like, no stress, एकदम बहुत मस्त company है, बहुत हंसाता है बंदा, I want to chill with that person. So this we'll find out what do they value in people, and also studies show every individual, we are the sum total of 5 people we choose to spend our day with.
Yeah, I have heard that, and I've seen that in the movie Diya Zindagi.
Yes.
Right.
So we can ask these questions, and then, or as the dates progress, and let's say you've been seeing them exclusively for like 2 months or so, then you can ask them serious questions like, let's say you and I were to, eventually end up together, or how soon do you want to get married? Do you want to have kids? And when it comes to finances, how would you like to handle finances in the household? These 3 questions are deal breakers if you don't match with your partner. Because finances की जब बात आती है तो money mindset gets involved. Money mindset, if one person is all about, I don't care about saving for a rainy day, I just want to live life king size, and they keep living paycheck to paycheck. And to them, it's all about the good life in the moment, right? And the other partner is all about financial security is everything to me, otherwise मेरी रातों की नींद उड़ेगी. If they're all about insurance policy लो, mutual fund लो, ये करो वो करो, and if they end up getting married without having these discussions beforehand, it can lead to a lot of chaos and sleepless nights, lot of fights and conflict, right? Which could also be a deal breaker, because one person is all about spending and loan pe loan, and the other person is like, I don't want to live like this. And when it comes to kids, some people want to have kids. There are a lot of couples these days that both decide not to have kids for whatever reason. But if one person is extremely like, no, like, it's my life's goal to become a parent, and if you've not had these conversations beforehand, divorce होगा ही होगा इन केसों में. Like, बहुत ज़्यादातर में क्या होता है कि no, I want to be with someone who has the same life goal as I do. And another thing would be when to get married, or if to get married again. Again, times are changing, right? So a lot of people are opting for live-in relationships over marriages, especially if one of them has already been divorced once. जिनका शादी से भरोसा ही उठ गया होगा. So for these people, it's not that they're commitment phobic. It's not that they don't like responsibilities or any of that. It's just that they don't want that label of being married. For some reason, they're like hesitant. But if they're being a good partner and whoever they're with, they're okay with it, then that's fine. But if they are someone बचपन से ना मैं शादी का जोड़ा ऐसा होगा, इस डिजाइनर का लहंगा पहनूंगी या फिर मैं इस टाइप का कार दहेज में लूंगा, like if they have these dreams, it will cause a lot of heartache.
Right. And Shuchetha, thank you for explaining all this in detail. But while you're explaining, like what I realized is that this questionnaire, the dating part, the list that you are sharing, when I was listening, I feel that it's a lot of task. It's a big task. It's a big project, it seems. Why the relationships have become so complex nowadays? That if I may ask, why we need a relationship coach before? Because in our parents' time, there was nothing like a relationship coach or someone like that. What has happened over these years that relationships have become so complex, and it's a
very good question. It is definitely the need of the hour to discuss this. Back in the day, everything was simple, not just relationships. हर कोई चीज आप देख लो. Like the number of jobs, the number of industries, the number of companies, the number of brands and cars that existed was very, very few. Everything was much simpler. There was no AEEE, there was no CAT exam, there was no entrance exam like UPSC. Pata nahi, matlab everything, competition has increased so much with the increasing population, and India is no longer just limited to India. With the explosion of digital media, where everything is on the palm of our hand, right? Like everything is here. Like we know what's happening in some village in USA. We may not even know what's happening next door. But we know something somewhere in some part of the world, right? So everything is evolving. For better or for worse, that's a debatable thing for another discussion, for another story. But things are rapidly changing.
Right.
So not just relationships, Advait. Agar aap sochoge, even like a decade ago, 2 decades ago, when we were, let's say, in our college, our career path was set. There was no freelancing ka concept. There were no unconventional careers, nothing. Right. It was either doctor banoge, engineer banoge, architect banoge, like very few limited options we had. Correct. And then now you have someone who is a copywriter and makes lakhs in a month that even a doctor wouldn't. And a copywriter doesn't even have a fixed qualification, right? They could be from any background. An MBBS doctor, MBBS padhte hain, if they want to become a surgeon, they do MS. And if they want to further specialize and they become, neurosurgeon, pediatrician, there's so many specializations again. But these doctors again, do they earn as much as a businessman or an entrepreneur does today? So everything is changing. And if we don't change with the changing times, what happened to dinosaurs?
Yeah.
Right? The same thing applies even in relationships. So it might seem extremely overwhelming कि यार इतनी सारी चीजों का ध्यान रखना है. I need to dress accordingly. I need to be well groomed. I need to be charming on a date. I need to be intellectual. I need to smile. I need to make eye contact, non-verbal communication. It might seem a lot, but look at it this way. It is the life partner we choose. It's probably the most important decision of our life. That is how important it is. And loyalty, commitment, again, in today's world, see, back in the day, अपने मम्मी पापा के ज़माने में क्या होता था? शादी किया तो equals happiness guaranteed, commitment guaranteed था. Loyalty तो definitely guaranteed था. Today's where? Like the divorce rate has gone up so much in the country because people are constantly looking for something better.
Right.
Again, why? Because these options have become available. Like cheating has become so much easier today. So unless you're on your A game, your partner will find someone else. That fear will always be there. But at the same time, love still exists, unconditional love, commitment still exists. where both parties have to make extra effort now, because both of them have too many options available. But every single day when you wake up, you need to choose your partner and not anyone else. And that takes effort from both sides. And you will make an effort once you get into a marriage, once you are used to and you've developed the capacity to make an effort from the dating days. होता है ना, dating phase आप preparatory exam मान लो.
Right. I really like the way you explained this, especially the perspective that you just gave about, you're choosing your partner every day, again and again, and that requires a lot of efforts and a lot of it's a difficult task to choose the same person. I
wouldn't say difficult. I'll tell you why it is not
because of the complexities that have grown between two persons over a period of time. Of course, there are some unresolved issues between two persons, and with those things you have to accept the partner every day, right?
Acceptance obviously has to be there, because nobody is perfect, right? Again, going back to the point, make a list of qualities you see in your partner, you want in your partner, and you become that. I've noticed, like, I have a reel also on this on my Instagram profile, which actually went viral, semi-viral. It said, when we can't change something about ourselves because we've lived 25-30 years of our life a certain way, जब हम खुद में ये बदलाव नहीं ला सकते, how do we expect someone else to change for us? खुद के मैं बदलाव नहीं ला सकती, right? But I'm expecting my partner to change and become someone that I want.
Right.
So there again, you need to be realistic with expectations. Acceptance, tolerance has reduced a lot in our generation. Our parents' generation, it wasn't like that. And in our parents' generation also, they were more duty conscious and they were happy on their own. There was not much dependence. But now we feel entitled. Okay, I've had a bad day at work. My partner should cheer me up. It's a demand.
Yes, you have to.
Back in the day, let's say your father came home from work and he was upset. Would your mother go out of her way to cheer him up? खाना लगा दिया, खा के सो जाओ. That's all she would say. And your father wouldn't even think, अरे ये औरत कुछ नहीं कर रही है मेरे लिए. मतलब खुश नहीं करे. That thought wouldn't even cross our father's mind.
Correct.
Because their expectations were again minimal. Today we are like it's like a double-edged sword, right? Like with increasing awareness, the good things also come up, but at the same time, on the flip side, disadvantages भी ज़्यादा बढ़ते जाते हैं.
And whatever you're explaining, I now started, believing more and more that you have to be very mindful from the first day of the date, right? And you should be very clear with your why and what you want from that relationship, right? Otherwise, बहुत सारा time ऐसे ही चले जाएगा and suddenly you realize, मुझे तो ऐसा नहीं चाहिए था. And then,
it's like I give this example, this analogy to my clients, right? आपको driftwood पता है?
No.
Driftwood is nothing but a piece of log in the sea. बिना ठिकाने, मतलब it will keep floating.
Okay.
जैसे waves आते हैं वैसे. See, I'm all for go with the flow. I'm all about letting a relationship develop organically. But unless there is that sense of direction and clarity, the wood never reaches the shore. It needs to have some sense of direction to it. That's the reason a ship works. Why? Because the ship has a sail to it. There is someone who actually navigates the ship. Right? So वैसे, your relationship, you need to navigate. Co-commanders, both of them should equally take responsibility and navigate that. Otherwise, it's...
Yeah. Good. Sorry. Go ahead.
That's it.
Yes, and now my question in regards to this only, when two people are not the captain of the ship, and one is the captain of the ship, so that becomes very difficult, to in that case I believe the other person should follow the captain, right? But in that case, what one should do, whether it's husband or wife, what should be the approach? Because it's difficult. I mean, and I feel not 100% relationships are what you are saying, as if both are captain and both are in sync with each other. but in this case, what should be the approach?
So again, during the dating days, when you're getting to know each other, figure out who is the alpha in the relationship. Alpha in the animal kingdom is the leader. Like you take a pack of wolves. Human beings are also pack creatures, right? You take a pack of wolves, there's always one alpha wolf, and rest all the beta, omega wolves follow alpha. So in the relationship, ideally the role of alpha should be played by both parties in different phases of life. Or in different areas of life, because no one individual is capable in all the aspects of the life. एक बंदा घर का भी काम संभालो, बाहर में भी पूरा अव्वल नंबर लेकर आओ, ऐसा नहीं होगा. It's not possible at all, right? So every individual, like in the relationship, both parties comes with their own unique strengths. So when that happens, whenever the situation demands a certain skill set, that person has to take on the role of the alpha, and the other person should follow without any ifs and buts.
Right.
And vice versa.
Right.
Back in the day, this was again not a problem, because women used to be confined to the household. They wouldn't venture out much into the world to have enough worldly knowledge or business knowledge, so to speak. So घर से बाहर का जो भी था, it would only fall on the shoulders of the man. And in the household, the man would again be the financial provider, right? So he would call the shots. किस चीज पे कितने पैसे खर्च होने वाले हैं करके. And the woman would follow. उस time पे gender roles were like very defined, and even the head of the household hierarchy, pecking order बोलते हैं उसको. That used to be very clear cut. But today, again, with growing times, women are also working outside the house, and sometimes the wife earns more than the husband does. There again, there is like that friction that happens sometimes. Right. So, keeping these things in mind, during the dating phase, being your real self is very important. You're not trying to impress them. It is more like data collection, information gathering बोलते हैं उसको. Okay, they come with XYZ skill set, I come with XYZ skill set. How compatible are we? Right. Is our strengths getting amplified, which is great, along with our weakness is also getting amplified, which is a bad thing. Example, if a couple is dating, right? बंदे का भी money handling, like finances बहुत poor है. Even the woman is very poor at handling finances. So one of them has to step up and get better. You know what I mean? And whoever is getting better, they need to lead that aspect of the relationship. Correct. So again, it's all about communication. And जब ego आती है ना, communication मार खा जाए. Right. Like, hey, you don't know this much also. Like beginning, शुरू में तो you were like so good at all these things. अभी मतलब ऐसे कैसे change हो गए? Nobody changes. They just settle into their more realistic version. Initially, everyone's trying to impress, right? So. Right. Yeah. Right. Okay. Being honest and realistic is very important in the dating phase. Dating दिनों से ही आपको बहुत honest रहना पड़ता है. Right. Okay. Shuchetha, I'm now changing some questions, shifting to another topic again about relationships, of course. Sure. But about breakups, So, so why breakup is, I would not say necessary, but is there any other way to learn about relationship than breakup only? Okay. All right. Going back to one of the previous answers that I did give, we need to be clear about who we are. We need to know ourselves enough to understand what our needs are. When our needs are not being met in a relationship, those needs could be anything. Every individual is different, so हर एक का अलग needs होता है. And then when these needs are not being met, and the relationship is not resulting in any growth, and it is bringing you a lot of misery, peace of mind bilkul nahi hai, and it is leaving you depressed, it is making you so miserable that you no longer even recognize yourself. It's messing with your identity. Each one of us has an identity, right? Like we are known for certain things in our circle. Let's say Advait is known for his humility. Advait is known for being patient and tolerant. But when your personality starts changing because of the bad effect of a relationship that is not for you, it could become Advait has become very impatient, angry young man ban gaya. Advait pata nahi kyun chid raha hai bahut aajkal logon se. So that is messing with your identity. That is the bad effect of a relationship.
Right.
Why is it happening again? Reasons could be numerous, which you will know more than any other outsider. So you need to take a call. Do I continue to be in this relationship, which might risk me losing myself altogether? Or do I talk to my partner and be like, hey, there are certain things in the relationship that has to change because it is impacting me so severely that मैं खुद को मतलब मैं आइडेंटिफाई नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ आजकल. आई एम चेंजिंग एज अ पर्सन एंड नॉट इन अ गुड वे. So that time a breakup is not just a necessity, it's a need. It has to happen. Otherwise you lose your sanity and depression हो सकता है, anxiety हो सकता है, trauma, and you will need therapy to get out of trauma and all of that. So good relationships will result in you becoming a better version of yourself, and a relationship that is not meant for you, it need not be toxic or abusive. So a relationship that is not meant for you, which is not serving you in any way, it is not nourishing you in any way. If it is not nourishing you in any way, then I'm sure that it is not nourishing your partner also in some way that they ought to be nourished. You guys are just not a match. So just end it. Things are still not so bad that I've seen some couples, oh my gosh, they even plot their partner's death in their dream. Us had tak baat matlab bigadne tak they wait, and then they can't even be in the same room as each other. They're like, I can't listen to their voice. Even listening to their voice is triggering me right now. Like, why let it get that far? Right? So when you realize that there is nothing that can be worked on, there is no solution because you're just so poorly matched to be together, just call it quits, walk away. Simple.
Okay. And on the same note, I was going to ask you the same question because you have so many clients, you are working every day with people. What is the current pulse? What is the relationship in India right now? How does it look?
It again can be broadly classified into 30 plus and 20 plus. So so the relationship evolves, right? Human beings also evolve. So 30s में जो आपके requirement होते हैं and 20s में जो requirement होता है, बहुत फर्क होता है. Like my own self, right? Like my ideal partner in my 20s and my ideal partner now that in my mid 30s, that it's like poles apart even. So what we even क्योंकि हमारे खुद का नजरिया बदलता है towards life.
Right.
We as a person, we change, we grow, we evolve. It's a constant process, right? So as we grow, the things that matter to us when we were younger no longer do today. Like I'll give you an example. Probably when we are in our 20s, we are like, okay, the guy has to be really cool. He needs to dress a certain way. He needs to be like, physical attributes hota hai. Itna height hona chahiye, baal aise hone chahiye, like facial features, cat eyes hona chahiye. Like I've heard all of these things, and he needs to have 6-pack abs. He needs to have a gym body. He needs to only drive a certain type of a car, and he needs to only wear suits for work. I want that kind of a guy.
So girls are asking, having this kind of preferences nowadays?
Yeah. Especially, it's not just the girls. It's the societal conditioning. Unless a guy is financially like wealthy. When I say wealthy, matlab लाखों करोड़ा नहीं कमा रहा है, तो मैं अपनी बेटी का हाथ उसके हाथ में नहीं देने वाला. Like the fathers are like that.
I had a feeling ki, very certain people, some pockets in India somewhere where have this kind of mindset. But do you think it is in general everywhere, or in metro cities, or in villages?
Especially if it is a proposal discussion on a matrimonial site. Rest assured, the very first call, the guy gets asked, how much do you earn in a month? And what's your package, salary package? That's one of the first questions the guy gets asked. For the girl, it's usually do you work, do you cook, and as shallow as it is, like it's everywhere in the world, not just in India. A woman's value is based on her physical appearance, her beauty. Like uska ranking hota hai. And then for men, it's the bank balance. It's that. So it's usually like, is your daughter good looking, gori hai, kaisi hai, like height kitna hai, like it's purely got to do with her looks and a little bit about her homemaking skills. If she has a career, again, there might be some families, again, times are changing. They would want the woman to have a career, plus they specify how much package also she needs to earn to enter their family.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I've seen it on I don't want to name the matrimonial site. Not so long ago, my profile was there, thanks to my mother. So they would even specify. So the annual income karke, there's like one in the bio data.
Yes, of course.
Right? So the guys had to fill it mandatorily. So girls had an option. We could either choose NA or not specify, or we could specify. And then the trend started ki some families would even specify the girl's income. Because to them, the income equals what status, socioeconomic status she comes from. किस तरह की family से वो आ रही है. And that would also indicate like if she's a city girl or a tier 2, tier 3 person. So this I found very bizarre in a way that a woman's value is no longer just her physical beauty, it's also तनख्वाह कितना लाती है वो घर, मतलब because her income, they are expecting her to contribute to the household as well. So this again, for some families it might be like that, but these same families may not demand that she cooks well too, because उनके दिमाग में priorities clear है, financial stability लाना चाहिए बहू भी बस, because with the changing times everything is so expensive these days, and if a couple wants to have a child and school education for kids is so expensive, it is almost like an unwritten rule that both parents should be working and earning enough money to afford the child's education.
Okay. Right.
So this is how it is. And then 30s mein aate aate usually people are already divorced. Definitely the percentage of divorced people has gone up in the last decade or so. During COVID, we saw so many couples like filing for divorce because they were forced to stay indoors, forced to look at each other's faces. Before lockdown, they would just go about their day, right? But lockdown time pe to you had to live with each other.
Right.
So that also accelerated a lot of divorces. And people in their 30s, like after they've been divorced, there's again growth has to happen, right? So they'll grow up and evolve, and then their priorities change, their requirements change. They just want a partner who is a good human being and who is like, committed and will work towards having a good relationship. And again, with life, people learn their lessons and they change and evolve. So it's an ever evolving concept when it comes to expectations and priorities in a relationship.
Right. And what are some common problems that people come to you to solve? So
all right, to answer your question, I'm not sure what triggered this change, especially this year. I've been receiving a lot of DMs from my female followers saying that they're extremely scared of arranged marriages and they've been looking for partners on dating apps. And their concern is how to filter out the relationship commitment oriented guys than the casual dating guys, because the first few interactions on the dating app, when they chat, it goes fairly well and the girls become very hopeful and all of it, and then they meet them in person as well, they exchange phone numbers. But then they come back to me saying like, we did go out on a few dates, but then after that he's just stopped responding. And this happened with some of my female followers. And then when I reached out to my male followers, I do have a focus group that I have regular interactions with. And even in my circle, I have a very varied population, you could say, from different industrial backgrounds, different age groups. When I did ask them, the guys also said the same thing. I was looking for a relationship, but the girl ghosted me. Which is again, I just literally feel like, exchanging phone numbers of these people. But then I don't want to start a matchmaking company, so I don't do that. So yeah, the most common problem that currently plagues the generation is something called a situationship. Have you heard of this term?
I have heard this, but want to know the exact definition of this.
Yes. So a situationship is a kind of a relationship, but without any emotional commitment.
Okay.
Without any girlfriend, boyfriend.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I'll explain. So it is very much like a relationship, because a situationship can go on up to a year as well.
Okay.
Few months to an entire year before they decide that they want to be mutually exclusive girlfriend, boyfriend, which is an actual relationship. So situationship is the phase between dating and relationship. अपने ज़माने में तो नहीं था, पता नहीं अभी आ गया है.
I'm trying to understand exactly. So what they can do and what they cannot do in that relationship, basically.
They can do everything. Nothing is off the table. They can do everything, but they don't want to commit to each other. They don't want to be mutually exclusive. So they want to continue dating other people as well.
Oh. Okay, not even a live-in. It's a...
Not live-in per se. No. It's situationship again. It doesn't have to be a live-in relationship. It's more like no accountability on either parties.
Okay.
There's no exclusivity clause on either parties. Because it's not defined. They don't call each other girlfriend, boyfriend at all.
Okay.
So the reason why this is happening, this happens especially with Gen Zs a lot. Millennials, somehow we've escaped that. Some of them still do it, but still escape that. Gen Z population में बहुत ये surface हो रहा है, क्योंकि they have been exposed to heartache in their teenage years. Everything that we millennials have experienced in life, the Gen Zs are experiencing 10 years before. Whatever we experienced in our 20s, they're experiencing that in their teenage years. So क्या हो रहा है? Maturity, emotional maturity होता ही नहीं है to deal with a heartbreak, relationship or any of that. But they end up dating again thanks to globalization, media, all of this easy access. Because you'll have a 12-year-old on a mobile phone today. You have followers who are just 12 or 13 years old, and I get very nervous. And I feel like asking the person not to follow me, because my content is quite mature. It's not for someone who's 12 or 13 years old. But that's the world we're living in today. So situationship kyun hota hai? Again, baggage, right? Past baggage. They would have had heartaches and heartbreaks. They don't trust that the other person is going to be loyal to them. They don't trust that, okay, this is my only person. They have a lot of fear of attachment. There's again in psychology something called attachment styles: secure attachment, avoidant attachment, anxious attachment. काफी उसमें भी categories हैं. So unless they heal from these past wounds, they're not a whole healthy individual to get into a relationship. But they don't have that awareness. And when everything is so easily accessible on their mobile phone, they will use it because it's exciting, it's entertaining, and again their hormones don't help. So the curiosity in the opposite gender बढ़ता ही जाता है, and then that's how these things happen.
Okay. My next question, Shuchetha, is about breaking the negative pattern. I think it is more related to what I asked about, the question of the insecurity, right? People have that insecurity, so good they go into, relationship. But about the negative pattern, because, I have seen, and sometimes I have experienced also in my case, we tend to repeat the same mistake in next relationship, and how to break that pattern.
Good question. Very good question. I really hope if people have not watched this video until now, but and not paid attention till now, pay attention now. Yes. Because this can save them a lot of heartache, and this can catapult their personal growth as well. Okay. First and foremost, self-awareness. I'm a big promoter of that. You need to know what your strengths and weaknesses are. You need to be your best friend. You need to know what you're good at. You need to know what you need help with. You need to know what your insecurities are. And majority of the times, Advait, kya hota hai? There will be some sort of childhood trauma that each one of us would have faced. For some people, it is extreme level, which alters their psychological abilities. And for some people, it is not so much, but it definitely impacts their personality traits. Right? Insecurity is a phase every human being goes through at some point in their life. The problem arises when insecurity becomes a personality trait. Let me repeat that. Insecurity is a phase, jealousy and insecurity is a phase everyone goes through at some point in their lifetime, but that should not define the person that you are. Right? So again, self-awareness, and after each relationship, right, when it ends, this is exactly why I don't encourage rebound relationships or getting right back on dating someone. I've seen some people, they would have never been single in their life. They literally jump from one relationship to the other. Because they can't handle their emotions. They can't regulate or face their emotions when they are all by themselves. They need that constant distraction. They need that constant feel-good factor. The problem with that, when we outsource our happiness to someone else, when that person goes away, right? That's the reason it is said that happiness is an inside job. Don't outsource it. Insecurities tabhi aata hai, we start using the other person to validate us. If we are dating someone like who is like hot property in our head, who are like, oh my gosh, good looking, good on paper, like they have very high socioeconomic status, we use that individual to upgrade ourselves, the materialistic part of it. This is called security by association.
Okay.
So we are associating ourselves with that person. We are literally like, there is science, biology, mein na, there is this concept called commensals, ectocommensals karke. All these whales in the ocean, they have these little fishes attached to them. Have you seen?
Like a parasite or something like that, right?
Yeah. Sometimes it's not exactly parasitic. Sometimes it doesn't cause the host body any harm.
Right.
Just latch on for the ride.
Yes, I know.
So it's also called a freeloader in layman terms.
Okay.
Right. So if we start latching on to people whom we perceive as better than us, be it financially, social status ke hisab se, be it in terms of appearance and everything, we automatically, like, you know, by association, we feel like, अरे हाँ, अपना भी level बढ़ गया, अभी अपना भी मतलब कुछ और level पे हम हैं.
Okay. Right.
So this happens because we've not healed, because we are too scared to look within for what are the areas that we need to work on.
Okay.
And if it is, sometimes it can be very overwhelming to face our dark side. It is also called the shadow side in psychology. Okay. Shadow side is that every individual has like a negative side and a positive side. Shadow side is the negative side which we don't want to confront, which we don't even want to admit to ourselves.
Yeah.
No, it takes a very secure individual to even say that I'm feeling insecure right now. So if it is too overwhelming, talk to someone.
If you could come again on the last sentence. It is very secure person.
It takes a very secure person to say that they are feeling insecure. I'll give you an example.
Right.
Let's say we have an individual. Let's call that individual Anna. Let's call her Anna. So Anna is someone. She is very evolved. She is very spiritually inclined. So she knows where her self-worth is. She doesn't latch on to anybody else to enhance her self-worth, right? In spite of it, she is currently, Anna is working on a project which she really wants to succeed at. She wants the project to be successful. And something happens along the way and she starts getting second thoughts. Oh my gosh, what if this project fails? What if it does? Self-doubt mein jati hai Anna. And then she's like, man, I'm feeling very insecure about my ability in the future or my credibility to handle what other clients because I failed at this project. So if she's secure enough, she will openly be able to say, I'm feeling a little insecure about the success of this project and how it is going to impact my career. If she's someone who has not accepted herself, who doesn't love herself 100%, she wouldn't have openly said that to anyone.
Okay, good. Yeah, I mean,
So it takes a secure individual to even admit they feel insecure. Because like I said, insecurity is a phase. It comes and goes. हर किसी के साथ होता है. मेरे साथ भी होता है. But you being able, like whenever I, like in my own life, like let's say I'm supposed to hang out with a certain friend of mine, but they are not available. They go with another friend of ours. Suddenly I'll be like, अरे ऐसे क्यों किया इस इंसान ने? मैं कितने दिनों से बोल. Suddenly I'll feel insecure about how close are we anymore. So instead of, being cold and detached and, oh no, it's okay, it didn't affect me at all, I'll reach out to this person. I'll be like, hey, I felt bad. Is there something else? Is there a reason why you chose to hang out with them and not me? Or was it just a coincidence? So this, if I were to admit it openly, there is not, मेरा value कम नहीं होगा उससे. Nor will my self-worth reduce. And if it is truly a good friend of mine, they will reassure me, it was just a sheer coincidence thing. मैंने already उनको बोल के रखा था, इसीलिए I chose to hang out with them. And I can meet tomorrow. बात खत्म. Instead of me getting into this overthinking, अरे क्या हुआ कि पूछूं कि ना पूछूं, like okay, this person is not my friend anymore. And this happens even in relationships. If somebody is like very obsessive about their friendships, chances of them being obsessive in a relationship is also very high because it's a personality trait at that point.
Okay.
So that's the reason I said insecurity is a problem when it is a personality trait and it's not just a phase that you're going through.
Wow, nice. Thank you for this. Okay, my last couple of questions, and I really want to know from you about the spiritual aspect. So when you're mentoring, you're coaching your clients, I mean, do you suggest them to explore their spiritual part? As in, do you ever say that, okay, you have this problem, I mean, I can understand, but you are spiritual being having human experiences. So not exactly the sentence, but you got what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
So yes, what
I definitely encourage them to explore their spiritual side for sure. Because I am a spiritual person myself. I'm a big believer of and a big follower, and I practice yoga regularly, and meditation is something that I swear by. I also get my clients on, depending on their concern at the moment, right? Like I've recommended yoga nidra, especially to a lot of my clients who have difficulties of sleeping at night. So at first, I don't tell them it's yoga nidra. I just tell them it's a sleep exercise, which will help you sleep. Because the moment we say spirituality, right, Advait, aajkal kya hota hai? People become very skeptical automatically. This is just woo-woo, some manifestation thing you're going to teach me, right, and all that, without realizing how powerful it is. Again, not their fault, and I'm not going to blame them for it, because there is a lot of misleading information about it. And many people say that, visualization technique is not effective at all. But there is definitely a scientific and a spiritual element to it, for sure. And it has worked for me, and I've seen it work for so many other people in my life, including my professional life and my personal life. So when it is done right, that is when it works. Like कोई भी चीज हो, कोई भी स्किल, नया स्किल सीख रहे हो, अच्छी तरह, I mean you have to learn the right technique. सही तरीका आपको सीखना है. आप ये नहीं कह सकते कि हाँ कहीं पे भी गया. It's like MBA, right? Like people who become MBA graduates today, it's not about the degree anymore. It's about what institute or university you do it in. Similarly, when you learn the right technique, and you follow the instructions to the T, results will happen. So spirituality ke hisab se, what I ask my clients to explore is yoga nidra is definitely one of them, especially for people with insomnia, anxiety, and they struggle with falling asleep, that one. And journaling for sure, and meditation in the morning. And there's also something called gratitude journaling. I mean,
thank you for.
So I've been practicing gratitude like for more than a decade now, I could say. And on days that I can't find anything to be grateful for, and manlo it's summer season, I'll be grateful for the, like the pankha. Yeah, 100%. And electricity, because not everyone on this planet has access to electricity in summer season. At least I have not reached that much of an elite status where the place or the society that I live in, we've never had power cuts. So matlab, probably hota hoga, like all the celebrities and all live, right? Like very fancy, we have power backup generators, but there will always be times when even those backup generators are like out of power because electricity is so little things like that, right? And it could also be something as simple as the food on your plate, घर का खाना.
Right.
हर किसी को नसीब नहीं होता है वो.
Right.
I've seen so many wealthy people order food from outside because they don't have anyone cooking at home. So घर का खाना and having a good close bond with your family and having ride or die friends bolte hain unko, like 4 AM friends bhi bol sakte ho. And I've seen a lot of people thinking friends bolte hi the more the better. Like mere 10 best friends hai. I'm like, okay, if you have 10 best friends, then nobody in that is your best friend. Because your own attention is scattered, your love and care is scattered instead of being focused on individuals, right? So the day you can count your friends on just one hand, which is like 5, that day you've made quality friends.
Right.
So all of these awareness will come in when you have that habit of being grateful for things, because we take these things for granted.
Yeah.
Like today, like compared to our parents' generation, our life today is so much easier when it comes to comfort and convenience and luxury. Wi-Fi, flat screen TV है बड़े से बड़ा, and then we have cars. कुछ घरों में तो 2 गाड़ियाँ होती है, 2 बड़े कार होते हैं. Back in the day, middle class family, can you imagine?
Yeah.
We didn't have, and we didn't even have like laptops, computers, desktops, none of these things, right? But today, all of these have made our life so easy.
Right.
So on days that you have nothing to be grateful for, just be grateful for these things.
Absolutely.
And see, you'll be starting the day on such a high note, and by the end of the day, when you again introspect, when you're sitting and journaling, you're like, oh my gosh, my day started so well. Why? Because you did gratitude journaling in the morning. And even when it comes to diet and nutrition, right? Like food definitely has an impact on our mood. I'm a strong believer of that, because our gut is the second brain. Many people fail to understand the connection, because there is a very compact set of nerves that go from brain to the stomach. Direct connection hota hai. So if you've noticed, whenever your stomach is upset, food poisoning ho, kuch bhi ho, whenever you have acidity, some stomach upset, some indigestion, आपका mood बहुत खराब होता है. बहुत ही ज़्यादा. Whenever you have any aches and pains in your body, you take a painkiller, you'll feel fine. But until your stomach feels better, chirchidapan, restlessness, you can't even sleep at night if you have an acidity in the stomach that's going on. And if you eat the right foods, again, all of this, you can call it spirituality, you can call it science, but I like to combine both of them. As long as it's benefiting you, I just give it a thumbs up. Simple.
Okay, cool. All right. Shuchetha, I mean, I really want to discuss with you on different topics. I mean, I would request to come back again on this show and we can have a separate topic, like one for this particular thing.
We've been talking for quite some time already.
Yes, but before
I have lots to share. What can I say?
But before you go, just wanted to know about what services, the offerings that you have for the people, your upcoming workshops and sessions that you have planned. So if you could tell us about that, please.
Sure. So like I said, since I've been receiving a lot of DMs, especially from my female followers, about dating, online dating apps, and how to navigate this very confusing world of modern day relationships and dating, I'm currently working with a couple of people in my team on, it's a masterclass. It's exclusively for women for now. So my main followers, don't feel disheartened. मैं आप लोगों के लिए भी कुछ करूँगी side में, but for now, since the demand is higher on the female follower side, I'm working on creating a masterclass which will give you a lot of insight on how to have an effective online dating profile. It could also be applicable for your matrimonial aspect as well, because there's just few tweaks needed from few key differences between a matrimonial bio and a dating app bio. So I'm currently in the works for it, which I'm very excited about. And there's something else I'm working as well alongside, which is going to be an online workshop, sort of like a boot camp you could call, because it is going to be very intense. These are the upcoming projects. The dates of when they'll be launched and everything, I'll be announcing shortly on my bio.
Okay.
So my Instagram handle, I think you can find it in the description box. I'm sure Advait will be sharing. So all the information will be there.
Absolutely. Wow.
I'm really excited, and I can't wait to see how many women will be benefiting from this, because whomever I have shared this in the one-on-one sessions, they only have nice things to say about it. So
of course, yes. No, of course, and I see you as a you can even really transform people's life, the thought process, the understanding, and what I another thing like about you, spiritual aspects that you have. I believe you have a great capacity and capability to make people's life better. So God bless you and congratulations and good luck for everything.
Thank you so much for having me. I mean, I have nothing nothing more to add other than the fact that this interaction and this meeting, this talk has exceeded my expectations.
Thank you.
You asked extremely important key questions, which is the need of the hour, and there is not enough discussion on this. So we need to start a dialogue in our generation about discussing things that truly matter when it comes to our well-being. And it's not just about having a good bank balance, it's not just about having six-pack abs, it's not just about finding that guy who can give you a diamond ring. It's about you being capable of having a diamond ring for yourself. It's about you being capable of having that mental peace and agency and authority and control over the decisions that you have to make in your life. And that awareness which comes only through these discussions. So
absolutely.
Kudos to you as well.
Oh, thank you. Absolutely. And मैंने जैसे बोला ना सुचेता, मुझे वही लग रहा है कि I'll again request you to come back again and we'll discuss on separate topics, individual topics about self-love, acceptance, appreciation.
Sure.
And
I'm looking forward to it. Happy to be back.
Thank you in advance. So I feel that you have given me the approval. You have approved that. Okay, yes, you will come back on my show again.
Yes. Oh yeah, like it is on video now, so
on
I
video
can't
now.
back
It is recorded now.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shuchetha. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Good night.
Bye. Take care. Yeah.